Right, welcome everyone to the channel and welcome to Warhammer 40,000 8th edition no less. Today it is the Orks versus Dark Angels, a new army on the channel. We haven't seen this army before. Ben Wooding has brought his Dark Angels down to fight against Gib Smasher's Orks, and on this table they shall meet. The ruined city, previous occupiers and builders of this beautiful, once beautiful city, now gone, destroyed, their history and everything they were made of now lost in the dust and ash of war. Today the Orks have come looting as usual. The Dark Angels have noticed the sudden influx of greenskins in the sector and have been sent to wipe them out. So a little bit of mix of old and the new on this battlefield today. Marking the center of the table is a Chaos star, still burning bright from its occupiers before. Maybe that's why they were cleansed from the planet, Chaos worshipping society. Who knows? All we know is that it happened a very long time ago. Yep, so center of the table, nice big open area. Hopefully you'll see some fighting there. A couple of large ruined buildings here, and on the other side here, a little bit of line of sight blocking terrain on these, which will be handy for both sides, I believe. Now, the new, it looks like an encroaching generator field of some sort, or maybe these are mining tools or machinery of some sort, but we know that the old is mixed with the new here today, and it will be a bloodbath. Not that this terrain is new to blood. You can see previous fighting still stains the battlefield here. So interesting battle. It'll be 2,000 points of 8th edition. Let's go take a look at the armies and I'll introduce you to Ben. Okay, so here is 2,000 points of Orks. This is Gib Smasher's Skull Crackers, and of course leading the force today is Gib Smasher himself. He's in mega armor with a claw and custom shooter. The Squig is his personal bodyguard. Does not count as anything in the game, but he will not go into battle without him regardless. Second in the command choices is the yet to be named Weird Boy. He has Smite and the Jump as his powers. Elite section holds 3 mega knobs with kill saws. Okay, in the troops section we have 2 mobs of 30 boys. They each have a boss with claw, shooter, and they have 3 big shooters in each squad. There is another squad here of 19. I was slightly over points, so I had to drop some. There is 19 boys. One of them has a big shooter. I'll have to drop one of those out. And there is a boss in there with power claw and shooter. Heavy support choices are as follows. I have 3 custom mega cannons with their little Gretchen crew. They have been really handy in battles. I'm really impressed with them. You're basically getting 3 battle cannons worth of fire for the price of probably 1 Lehman Russ or less. So really, really impressive. Okay, in the other 2 heavy support slots, I have the Gorkanaut, of course, standard loadout for him. Then I have 2 Death Dreads with extra claws, no firing weapons on them. I had to bring in an auxiliary support choice, which is -1 to my command points, unfortunately, to fit the battle wagon in. It has a ARD case, so it's toughness 8, and it has 4 rockets, and using this little custom turret on there that represents the rockets. Okay, so that is 2,000 points of Orks. It is a battalion, and of course -1 because of the extra heavy support, which puts me on 5 command points for the game. Let's go take a look at the Dark Angels. Okay, so here is 2,000 points of Dark Angels. Ben Wooding has come down again, of course, to play, bringing his own army this time. Pretty excited here. It's a very, very different matchup. Haven't played against Mage Marines in 8th edition yet, so very excited to see what happens. So down here on the left, what have we got down here?
Okay, we've got the first tactical squad there with the missile launcher, flamer, and combi melter.
Nice. And they're in a Rhino, I assume.
Yeah, they have a Rhino transport. Just realised my Devastator Marines are facing the wrong way. They can't have that. So we have a Devastator.
Doesn't matter in 8.
4 las cannons.
Yep.
They used to have a veteran sergeant, but that doesn't seem to be a thing anymore.
No, true.
And then a nice Predator with the 4 las cannons.
Excellent.
Warlord there with the Relic Blade and Grav Pistol.
So he's like a captain or
He's
something?
a captain equivalent there, company masters.
Okay.
Dark Angels.
Cool.
The next tactical squad there has a plasma gun, heavy bolter, and combi plasma.
Nice. And back here.
Assault squad with 2 plasma pistols and a power fist for the sergeant. Dreadnought with assault cannon, power fist, and heavy flamer. We've got the librarian there,
Okay, cool.
third tactical squad there with the missile launcher, combi flamer, and melter gun with their Rhino transport. And finally we have a Deathwing Terminator squad with assault cannon and chain fist, followed by the Ravenwing Landspeeder.
Excellent. So loving the look of this army. There's a few classic models in here. If you've been playing as long as we have, you might recognise some of these. So it's good to see the old and the new coming out, mixing with the old and new terrain here. So that is 2,000 points of Dark Angels from Ben. We'll go on to mission and deployment. Okay, so the mission today is an Eternal War mission, No Mercy. We rolled randomly on the tables and picked this one up. So No Mercy is kill points. You're basically getting a victory point for each enemy model destroyed. Slay the Warlord, First Blood, and Line Breaker are in effect. We rolled randomly for deployment and got Frontline Assault. So that's this kind of setup here. We are deployed. Looking pretty good right now. So on the Dark Angels side, there's a couple of tactical squads in Rhinos just there. Tactical squad commander and the librarian there as well. There's an Annihilator just behind them. Devastators just to their right. And on this flank you have the Assault Marines and the Dreadnought. Oh, Landspeeder in there too. Okay, so reserves for the Dark Angels is just the Terminators. They will deploy via Deep Strike. For the Orks, a bit of a sea of boys here. So I've got all 3 squads of boys, Gibbs Smasher in amongst them, and the Librarian, the Weird Boy there. You've got a, I know, we've got a couple of Death Dreads here, looking at the left flank there. The Gorkanaut is smack bang in the center as well, as close as he could get to the other side. You got the cannons, custom cannons here. It's got a little bit of line of sight through here to some units, so hopefully they do well. And on the very right flank, the Mega Knobs are inside the battle wagon. Okay, so I finished deployment first, which means I will get first turn unless Ben here decides to concede? Wrong. Seize.
On one I concede, yeah.
Okay, so here it is. Oh, not quite. It's a 5. So nice try, but the Orks will go first here. Kill points, so we're going to smash each other to bits. I think the chaos symbol in the middle has affected our psyche, and we are just going nuts for each other. So there it is. So there is blood to be spilt here today. We'll go on to the Orks, turn 1. Right, so Ork movement is done. We'll shortly move on to the psychic phase, but basically these guys have advanced up. All these 3 mobs of boys have advanced up there, Gibb Smasher in tow, and also the weird boy there. The Gornaut has moved up full movement, 8 inches, but will reserve for fire. No movement from the cannons, of course. And 12 inches with the battle wagon lining up some shots on the dreadnought there. So we'll have a look at the psychic phase now. I'm going to use the jump. Now, the rule is for weird boys that every boy within 6 inches of the weird boy, every 10 of them adds +1 to the roll. So I'll just quickly work that out. Okay, so the jump is a, I need a 7 to pass the psychic test. I've got 40 plus boys within 6 inches, which is +4 to my roll. If I roll above 12 or above, sorry, I get automatic parals. So I've got to try and roll low here. If it goes off, which I think it will go off, I'll show you afterwards where I'm going to deploy the squad of boys. But anyway, I'm going to declare it on this this big squad of 30 boys here. Okay, so here we go. Okay, instant perils. That's a score of what?
16.
16. Holy crap.
Sorry, 14.
Truly. Okay, so instant perils, so we'll roll on that in a second. We'll also move these models and then we'll show you what is going on after that. Right, so psychic phase is over. The jump moved the squad of 30 boys that was here behind this wall over to here. They are 9 inches from these targets here. So we've got 30 boys facing up against a wall of green armor up there. So green on green. All right, so we'll go into shooting now. We'll start off with the Gorkanaut here. So we'll do the Deathstorm Mega Blaster, and that'll be at this tactical squad here. 3d6 shots. Well, that's nice. Look at that, 16.
16, yep.
Yep, 16. Thank you. 16 shots hitting on 5s. No less. What's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not too bad. And winning on 3s. It's strength 6 versus toughness 4. Unfortunately, only 2. It is -1 to the armor though. So yeah, safe. Okay, nicely done. We've got 2 twin-linked big shooters. So that's 12 shots. All right, 12 shots hitting on 5s, same squad. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, only 4 this time. And winning on 3s again. Strength 5, nothing. Oh, sorry, 2. And that's 2 normal 3+ armor saves. Yay, 1 Marine bites it. Flame is out of range. We do have 2 rocket launchers. I should have declared all this beforehand, but because I didn't, I'll just all keep shooting at the same squad, to be fair. Yep, 2 rocket launchers hitting on 5s. Ooh, nice. Wounding on 2s, and that's 1 wound -2 to your armor save there, so 5 up to save a Marine. That's a Marine dead. Okay, so a bit of a waste there. I could have done some damage against the tanks, but that's what happens when you forget to declare your weapons, which I'm prone to doing. We'll do the 4 rockets on the battle wagon. They're all going to go at the Dreadnought, which is up there. I've already pre-measured the range. Hitting on 5s, that's 2 hits, nice. Well above average. What toughness is it?
7.
7, so 3s to wound. It's 2 wounds. -2 to your armor.
That's 2 fails.
2 fails, okay, that's straight up 6 damage.
Wow.
That's pretty nice. Yep, yeah, damage 3 for each rocket. That's not too bad, it's a good start. Okay, so I've measured the range for these cannons. 2 of them can reach the Annihilator there, the other one can only reach this squad here, so we'll go for the Tactical Marines on that. So it's D6 for that one. At 6 shots, how you going? 5, 6. Hitting on 4s, good old Gretchen. 1, 2, 3. It's good. And wounding on 2s. That is also good. -3 to your armor. Yep. Okay, so that's a 4.
4. Yep.
So 2 more Marines down. The 2 front cannons now at the Annihilator. D6 each. Oh, can you believe it? Looking good. 12 shots. So looking pretty good. 4s to hit. Not so good. Wow. 1, 2, 3. Only 3. 3s to wound on that as well. Only 1 wound coming through. I'll give you +1 to your armor there, so it's -2 to your armor save.
5 is not the same as
Okay,
3.
so D3 wounds. And it's 2 wounds. Okay, not bad. Alright, so shooting phase for the Orks is over. Actually really, really good for an Ork shooting phase. So you saw the missiles, rockets coming through onto the Dreadnought here. I also shot all these boys at the Dreadnought. It's now down to 1 wound remaining. You also saw some damage coming through to the Predator there. That was fire from the 2 front cannons here. And a few of the Marines were lost from shooting from various sources. So I did actually fire most of this unit into that squad as well, but he passed all his armor saves, which is good for him. And we'll go into assaults now. There's only 1 to declare, and that is over here. They need a 9-inch charge to get into combat. They do have re-rolls, but we'll see what we can do there. So I'll roll this and then he can do his Overwatch. Okay, that's not good enough. Here we go. It's not good enough. No, only 6 rolled on both attempts. And Ben can do his Overwatch as well.
For fairly obvious reasons. Those are not successes.
And no successes. Okay, so no success on either side. No damage coming in on Overwatch, and unfortunately the charges didn't come through on that boys squad. So interesting to see what will happen to them next. They are very squishy targets when assault marines are concerned. So we'll see how the Dark Angels can retaliate on their turn 1 coming up. Okay, so just while Ben's moving his troops, just as an addendum, we did roll perils for the weird boy here, and he is down to 2 wounds. He lost 2. I believe he's only got 4. So, yep, a little bit of loss there, but let's see what Ben does now. He's just starting to move his troops and Dreadnought a little bit closer. The inevitable clash will come up shortly. Okay, movement for Dark Angels is over. There is a large gathering of 2 tactical squads in this chapel here. They've got a good line of sight to this squad of 30 boys. I imagine there will not be 30 boys here, at least a few remaining boys a little bit later on. The Rynos both moved on either flank there. Moving back with the Marines from the wall there and advancing forward with the Dreadnought. On 1 wound, fortunately for the Orks, but this sizable squad of boys looks to be hammered a bit this turn as well. So we'll go on to Psychic Phase. It's got a couple of psychic powers to do, so why don't you go ahead and do them.
Okay, I'm going to start with Aversion, which requires a warp charge of 6. And that is not a 6.
That is not a 6. It's close to a Perils, in fact.
It's very close to a Perils. And I'll follow up with Smite. And that's a 10.
Okay, 10. Okay, so he's failed with Aversion and has succeeded with Smite on these boys, I assume?
Yes. And that's D3 mortal wounds. 2.
Very nice. So 2 Orks down from Smite. Not too bad, but we'll go into shooting phase for the Dark Angels. Okay, so what's
Alright,
this?
I'll start with the las cannons firing at the battle wagon over
Okay, las cannons at the battle wagon.
It's hitting on 3s.
So what's that? Ooh, command point possibly?
I am within 6 inches of my captain, so that will be a reroll of the 1. That's
Okay.
3 hits.
3 hits, that's not bad.
Leave that aside.
Toughness 8, so it's 3s to wound, I think.
That's correct. 3s to wound. That's not
That's
so
only
good.
1. Is there a command point coming up here, or?
Ooh, that's very tempting. I was given some advice yesterday, and I'm going to stick with it. So
What was
I
that
will not
advice?
reroll that. The advice is reroll damage.
Damage, yes, very good.
Rerolling to wound or rerolling to hit.
Yep, very good.
Because at that point, your opponent can't block it.
Yeah, very
So,
good. Not a bad idea.
Armor save, sir. I believe that's a -3 on the las cannon.
Okay, -3 on a las cannon, which puts me on it goes straight through the armor.
Go straight through the armor.
Yep,
does it?
it's 4 up
Excellent.
save on the battle wagon.
Right.
So
the
straight to
number of
damage.
Damage is 1.
1.
That is what I will
That's
reroll.
okay. So command point coming through for the stratagem, and
5.
5. Wow, that pays off. That pays off very well. So 5 wounds off the battle wagon there from the las cannons. Okay, the predator's going to go and fire 4 las cannons.
All
In
targeted at the
to
very obvious
the
target.
obvious target, the big one in the middle. Let's see how well he does. 4 las cannons, 3 hit. That's good so far.
Wounding on 3s. That's
3s
not
to
3s.
wound. That's only 1 has come through. Damage would be 3.
Damage. Yeah, sorry. I jumped
Minus-
ahead of myself there.
okay, so-
It's -3 on the save.
Okay, so it's a 6 up save for the Naught. Nope, so it goes through, and that's how many damage? 3. Okay, so there we are. We're down to 12 wounds remaining. Not too bad. So the tactical marines did fire through. They managed to take out 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 boys. You saw before that this squad was reduced by also 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 boys. So we'll do morale on those. I've just got to check with the mob rule, and we'll do morale after that. Fire coming through from the 2 Rynos as well. Took a couple of boys off there. And fire coming through from the las cannons, as you saw. A couple of wounds off the Gorkanaut. We will go on to assault phase.
Yep.
Looks like there may only be the 1 assault over here. It looks like the Dreadnought and the assault marines may be heading into combat there.
Yes, that's
We'll do that off camera, and we'll let you know what happens. Okay, unfortunate success for the Orks in contrast to the Dark Angels here in the assault phase. The Dark Angels hit first, managed to kill 5 or 6 Orks but unfortunately the Orks retaliated and ended up taking out a vast majority of the assault marines with a lot of wounds coming through. Really good rolling, and the last wound on the dreadnought was taken off as well by a lucky rolls. Unfortunate there for the assault marines, but this squad did lose 17 models. This squad of Ork boys lost 17 models this turn, which means they automatically lose 4 Orks plus D6, 6. So 10 Ork boys run away, so not so lucky there for the Orks. And over here, I've still got 20 left, only lost 10 this turn, so they are safe. So over here,
Assault Marines having lost 7. So that's a roll of 10, which will fail.
Okay, so that's a fail there for the Assault Marines on morale. We're just checking out the morale, the leadership value.
Leadership 8, so I can either lose 2 or I can re-roll in the hope of rolling a 1.
Yes, true.
I think I will accept the loss of 2 and keep the sergeant.
Okay, so the sergeant is left alive. Devastation over here, very devastating. So if we take away 10 boys now, 6, 8, 9, 10, we lose a big shooter. We're left with 3 Orks, including the Knob, and a sergeant Space Marine. Absolutely devastating. A lot of life lost on this side. I think I might have to copy and paste some of this blood over to this side of the table. There is a lot of death going on here. So that marks the end, I believe, of the Space Marine Dark Angel's turn.
That is correct.
And we'll go on to Ork turn 2, where we'll see hopefully a little bit more Space Marine blood shed. Sorry. Let's be honest. Okay, Orks turn 2. Right, so movement for the Orks is over. This squad pushed up over the wall with the weird boy in tow. The boys that were here have funneled through into the ruins there, looking to take on some tactical marines, skip smasher, towing behind, making sure that they can run and charge on their way in. This dreadnought actually powered around the corner here, 14 inches flat out it went. Can't charge this turn though. This one, however, did move up and we'll be able to charge that Rhino later on. The Gorkanaut powered up and went forward 8 inches. Not sure what I'm going to do with his shooting yet, but I want to try and take out a Rhino at least. That may help me in the kill points side of things. Over this side, the cannons stayed still as expected. The battle wagon pushed through. The Meganobs are still inside. I'm not sure what to do with them yet. And there's an ongoing melee here, or melee. So we'll go into Psychic phase.
Maybe just clear a spot for you.
Okay, so Ben's just predicted exactly where I'm going to place the jump once it goes off. Hopefully it does. So, yep, I'm looking at this little space over here to try and get to, see if they can support the boys funneling through there, take out all these Marines. That'd be fantastic. Okay, so looking at 2d6, now within 6 inches I have 19 boys, so it's only +1 to my roll. I need 7 and I get plenty. So 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's plenty and no perils this time, which is good. And I must also remember to keep his wounds. He is on 2 wounds remaining. Okay, so we'll get the jump done and then we'll go into the shooting phase. So just discussing off camera, no one's actually got first blood yet. I know it's only been turn 1. Usually you would see that appear, so I'm hoping to get that myself this turn. If not, it'll definitely be the Dark Angels that get that point. Okay, so admittedly I stuffed up quite a bit here. I advanced with the boys here before they were jumped over to here, which means they can't charge. I didn't think of that beforehand. They've shot here at the squad. They took out a couple of Marines. This squad has shot through to the squad at the front there as well. A couple of Marines down. So 4 so far off that squad, or 5? 5?
That's
Oh, okay, from that squad. Okay, shooting through from here was virtually ineffectual. There were 2 wounds come off there, and that was from the cannons.
1 Marine from this unit.
1 Marine from the Gorkanaut coming through. Apart from that, there wasn't much else happening. So yeah, big mistake. I'll remember that. I didn't think about the fact that they weren't going to be in range of Gib Smasher and the Wild Rule. So unfortunately, no charge for these guys this turn. These guys will charge into these units, this into this, and I'm going to try the Gorkanaut into the Rhino there as well. And of course, over that side, we have the combat ongoing. Okay, so we'll go into assault phase for the Orks. Assault phase for the Orks is over. Whiffed on this side with the Death Dread, only caused 3 wounds to this Rhino there. Over here, different story. Okay, so Overwatch from the 2 squads, there's a flamer in each squad. Ben rolled 2 6s for the number of automatic hits and ended up killing 10 boys just with the 2 flamers on Overwatch, and a couple more were killed from the bolt guns. Did not do much damage on the Orcs side coming in. Gib Smasher did take out a couple of Space Marines there, and 1 Space Marine was killed from the 2nd squad. From the boys, in retaliation, I think 1 boy was killed by the Space Marines. Okay, over here, Gorkanaut took out the Rhino, absolutely destroyed it, so much so that it exploded, took off a wound from the Gorkanaut, and then killed 2 of the Dark Angels in that squad. So pretty cool explosion going off there. Assaults over here, pretty clear. The 2 boys actually ended up killing the Space Marine before he could even assault, and they have moved 3 inches consolidation towards the commander there. So it's kind of success considering the blunder over here with this squad not being able to charge. Not too bad, those squads are tied up at least, and Rhino and a squad over here destroyed, so that is a kill point there, a kill point here. And we are very, very close to another kill point here, but we'll see. We're going to do some morale. There's a lot of bodies to account for here, so we'll do that off camera and I'll let you know what happened. Right, so leadership is done and the boys squad has wiped itself out before even rolling for morale. So unfortunately, those boys are completely gone. It is a victory point for the Dark Angels. Gib Smasher all on his own now in this ruined chapel. Now morale did come through for this squad of 3 here, but he passed on a reroll of 1, and this squad here passed on a leadership of 8. So we'll go on to Dark Angels turn 2. Hard to say sort of where the game's at this stage. Obviously there's still a turn of shooting and assaulting to come from the Dark Angels, and Terminators of course to come down from reserve. So let's see how it matches up. The beginning of Dark Angels turn 2. Movement here for the tactical marines in the chapel here. So this squad over here of 3 have fallen out of combat from Gibbs Smasher. This squad here is lined up, ready to try and assassinate, take out the big boy himself. I don't think the missile launcher moved, so that's a crack missile's worth right there. No movement from the Rhino. It's probably a good tactical choice. Keep that Death Dread swinging, I guess. Over here, falling back with the remaining squads here. The commander has fallen back from the corner here. He was getting a bit close to those grubs over there. So, movement from here, or?
No, land speeder stays still.
Land speeder stays still. That's cool.
The las cannons, as you'd expect.
Yeah, yep, cool. So there's a fair bit of firepower in this sector here. So there's 8 las cannons, heavy bolters, and lots of little bolters as well. And on the far left flank, right over in the Ork deployment zone, the Dark Angel Terminators have arrived. Poor old weirdo here with no name is directly in their line of fire, and they've got a good line of sight here to the guns as well. So a very, very tactical game going on here right now. Let's see what happens in the shooting phase. I think there's a lot of death to come. He's lined up for a really good phase here. So fingers crossed for the Orks that they survive, but fingers crossed for the Dark Angels that they have a good shooting phase.
Start with aversion on the Gorgonaut to try and make it have a harder time shooting me.
Okay, so aversion's been cast onto the Gorgonaut, and it's a Snake Eyes. That is a perils and a fail simultaneously.
So, D3 wounds.
D3 wounds. It's 2 wounds on the Librarian
I'll have to
and a
check his
fail.
health later, but I have a feeling he's only got 1 left.
Okay.
And
You've got Smite available to
second
you.
attempt will be Smite. That succeeds.
Smite succeeds perfectly. Okay.
And that's D3 mortal wounds on the Gorgonaut. That's just
So 1 wound coming off the Gorgonaut
down
there.
to 10.
So that is the psychic phase. Still not quite halfway down on the Gorgonaut's wounds there. So still quite effective, but I'm sure all these las cannons will change that story. Okay, Predator Annihilator.
Yep.
Going for it.
That's a 2, those are 3s, it hits on 3s.
Okay, 3s to hit.
Good thing I did not move.
3s to wound.
2
wounds. That's good, that's good. -3 on the armor save, I believe.
Yes.
That will be 2 6s, please. Negative, both go through, so it's 2d6 damage coming up. Oh my god. That's killed it. That's killed the Gorgonaut.
Yep.
We need to try and work out if this thing explodes or not. I think it might be on a...
It'll be, a 6.
Yeah, maybe a 6. Let's have a look. Oh! Okay, so...
Who's within 6 inches of the Gorgonaut?
Yeah, I think it might be bigger than that, actually.
Oh.
Okay, so...
Let me check the health of my library.
Right, yeah. So the Gorgonaut has exploded. Each unit within 9 inches of the Gorgonaut takes D6 mortal wounds. This could be game changing. Right, so Gorgonaut is gone, exploded fierily and wiped out a couple of units. So only 1 wound came on the Predator here. The squad of 2 or 3, it was only 2 there, they were destroyed. 1 taken off the Devastator squad. Librarian has been destroyed outright. He is gone from the explosion as well. There was 3 tactical marines in here, they were destroyed. Gibbs Smasher took 4 wounds, he's only got 3 left. And 1 on the tactical squad here? Squad. Okay. So absolutely devastating explosion has come through. So kill points on either side being racked up here. Rightio, so shooting phase for the Dark Angels turn 2 is over. Not too much happening here. Actually, over this side, something did happen. The battle wagon that was there was destroyed by the 4 las cannons here. Did not explode, so one of the Meganods was slain before disembarking. out of that transport. So they've moved out of the transport 3 inches to the wall there. You saw the Gorkanaut die. Over this side, unfortunately, no wounds came through from the firing of that squad there. Gibbs Smasher made quite a few saves, and he is surviving, although he is about to be assaulted by that entire squad. So he's taken 4 wounds already, and just before we're going to go any further, I'm going to remind myself of Tenacious Survivor, which he has as his Warlord trait. On a 6, those wounds come back. So none, so he's still on 3 remaining wounds. And we'll go on to assault phases and see what happens. So he did consider putting the speeder into the knob. Could work in his favour, but if he whiffs, that thing might be torn apart by the claw. Over this side, the Marines are going into combat, and we've got an ongoing combat here with the Death Dread. So we'll do that now. So assaults are over. Unfortunately for the Dark Angels here, not a single wound went through to Gibbs Smasher's flesh. 1 wound was made but saved by his 2-up armour. He retaliated by slicing up 2 of the Marines. Morale was passed by that squad as well, so they are safe. Over here, the Rhino was destroyed, and the Death Dread has moved up 3 inches, consolidating. Okay, so that marks the end of turn 2. We'll move on to the Orks turn 3 now. Starting to close in on the units up against the table edge here. I dare say there's probably going to be a bit of bloodshed this turn. Still a few units for the Orks left on the table. Gorkanaut gone, leaves a bit of a big hole, and with the squad of Terminators over that side of the table, we may be looking at a bit of an issue with the cannons up that side. So we'll see how we go. Orks turn 3 coming right up. Okay, Ork turn 3 movement is done. We have the 3 knobs here, sorry, the 2 mega knobs and the knob on his own moving up. I did consider this knob going into the Devastators there, but I think I might leave that to the mega knobs, and this guy would probably die in Overwatch going into them. So we'll go into there with the Land Speeder in the assault phase. Moved up with the Dreadnought here. He's got an 8-inch charge to get into the combat there. These boys moved across also with a 7 or 8-inch charge there as well for the Predator. Over here, a little bit of support coming through for Gibbs Smasher. And I don't know if I filmed it, but the Weird Boy was destroyed by the Terminators last turn. No movement for the cannons. I'm going to fire one of them through back to the Terminators. The other 2 will go through to the Annihilator, I think. So we'll do that shooting now, get that done, and we'll see what happens after. So the shooting is done for the Orks turn 3. This knob here tried to take off some wounds of the speeder there. No success. Over here though, The boys shot through, the entire squad of shooters shot through and took, was it 2 wounds off?
2.
Was it 2 wounds off? And then the fire coming from the 2 cannons over there actually took off the remaining 4 wounds, and now it's just left on 1 wound, which is fantastic. No effect on the Terminators from the final cannon there. He's made his the save of 5+. No shooting over here at the guys that are in combat, so we'll go on to combats now. There are a couple to declare and some Overwatch to be done. So assault phase over, and a little bit of a result in the little ruined building here. All the Marines were destroyed, attacks coming in from the Death Dread and Gibbs Smasher. They have consolidated forward slightly. Over here, another good result. The Death Dread took off the last remaining wound from the Predator, did not explode. Over here, not so good news. The 2 Mega Knobs were cut to pieces by the Commander after they only took 2 wounds off of him. So I'll just pop this. How many wounds does he have a lot?
The Commander has 3 left.
Okay. So Commander's on 3 remaining points left. No damage on the Orc there, but he did take that speeder down to 1 wound. This entire squad here has consolidated towards the Knob. So looking pretty ghastly over this side of the table for the Marines. This Devastator squad, the captain, are the only survivors on this side of the table remaining, and the only other survivors thus far are the Terminators on the other side of the table. So looking like a little bit of a whitewash over here, or a greenwash, depends how you're viewing it. So we'll go on to the Space Marine turn 3. Not sure, I think, they may, if he rolls well, he may be able to pull off a pretty big turn this turn. I think with 4 las cannons, he's still got a very good chance of taking out that Death Dread and taking a few wounds off these boys here. That Knob there, of course, very open. And the Terminator's unharmed and very much in range to be able to assault these units in the ruins there. So yeah, interesting to see what's going to happen. We'll roll up and let's get to it. Right here, so turn 3 for the Dark Angels was very, very quick. Shooting came through from the 4 lads cannons and took out the Death Dread that was there. Did not explode, fortunately for the boys that were standing right next to it. They lost 2, and that was 5 from the bolters from that Devastator squad. Over there, the Knob is gone. He was sliced to pieces by the commander of the Dark Angels there, who consolidated back into coherency with his squad there. Damage coming through to the Death Dread here, that was from the assault cannon on the Terminators. Only 1 wound came off. The Terminators then fired and assaulted into these units here. So they fired at this cannon, took off 3 wounds there, and then assaulted into the Gretchen and killed a squad of 5 of them. They then consolidated into all of the units here. So everyone is in combat here now. Going on to the Orc, turn 4. Kill points are racking up on both sides. There's quite a few kill points here. I didn't realize before the game, but each individual squad of guys for the cannons, and each individual cannon is considered a separate unit. So there's 6 kill points to take right here. So I've conceded 6 points right there. I think they'll swiftly die under the fists of the Terminators there. I won't be able to get to them fast enough with the rest of my units. But this side of the table should be mine for the taking. We'll see what the boys can do in their next phase. Still have to consider Line Breaker. First Blood did go to the Orks, I think, taking out the Rhino.
No, it's for taking out the Assault Marines.
That's right, okay. First Blood was for the Assault Marines. We'll tally that up at the end of the game, but speculating thus far, I think Oh, it could go either way. It depends how this side of the table goes. I know it's not going to go so well over here. So we'll go into Orc turn 4, and I'll give you a summary at the end of the turn. Alright, so turn 4 for the Orcs went quite well. Moving forward and shooting and assaulting with the boys here into the Devastators and the captain. The knob with the claw actually killed the captain, and then the boys wiped out a large majority of the Devastator squad, and then morale destroyed the remaining 2 las cannons. So they've consolidated forward towards the retreating land speeder, now left on its own on this side of the table. Over here, the Terminators destroyed all the Gretchen, which means the guns are automatically destroyed. Yet to work out exactly how many kill points that is. It could be 6 or it could be 3. I'm not entirely sure. We're working that out. Right, so these moved forward. Got a couple of good advanced moves with the Death Dread and Gibbs Smasher. The Terminators have consolidated towards them. We're going on to turn 4 for the Dark Angels. Again, it's a very close game. I don't know who's got it. It might be a mutual wipeout. We're not sure. We might kill each other like to the T. Yeah. So yeah, we'll go on to Dark Angels turn 4. Rightio, so a very quick turn here for the Dark Angels. The Terminators fired upon going into assault. They took off 0 wounds with the shooting. I had some lucky saves come through. So 0 wounds came off in the shooting phase. They then assaulted in and took off 3 wounds. I then returned with some saws and cut 2 Terminators in half. And that is the entirety of the turn. Actually, the land speeder did zoom from one side to the other there on 1 wound. So it didn't shoot because it advanced. So that was it for the Dark Angels turn. We're going on to turn 5 for the Orcs. What to say? There's really not much to say. This assault could go either way. Either I'll lose a Warlord or there might not be any Terminators sitting there. Over here, the boys, I think they might just hang out over this side. There's nothing over here to threaten them apart from a land speeder, but it may not be enough to get me off of the enemy deployment zone. So we'll go on to turn 5 for the Orcs. Okie dokie, so Orcs turn 5 is done very, very quick. We advanced up with the Orcs here to get in range of shooting at the speeder and caused 0 wounds to it. It's still only on 1 remaining wound, so unfortunately did not make the kill point there. Over here, Gibbs Smasher whiffed and did nothing. Made 1 wound against one of the models. It was the Assault Cannon Terminator. And the Terminators whiffed against Gibbs Smasher. He did not take a single wound from them. Unfortunately, most of them missed. So it was on to the Death Dread to come in and save the day. He only killed the Terminator that was on 1 wound left. So 2 left. They're fearless, so yep, no morale to do. And it's straight on to the Dark Angels turn 5.
Advance.
Okay, so he's going for line breaker. Let's advance to the other side of the table.
There.
Very good.
And no moving, no shooting, straight into combat.
Okay, so all these models back here are dead.
Casualties.
They're dead. So, 2 Terminators. Any chain fists in there?
No, the chain fist died.
Okay, right.
So both will target Gibbs Smasher.
Okay.
Smasher.
Yep, get it right.
Power Sword first.
Yep. Nice, 2 hits.
Need to wound you this time. There we go.
Okay,
Wounded
it's
you
1
once,
wound.
That's -3.
-3, so it's a 5 up.
And we did that
Saves
again.
it. Nice.
And then the power fist hit both times. There we go.
Good.
Wounded once.
Wound once, and that's -3 as well.
Yep.
Nope.
There we go.
Okay, so it's gone through.
Crucial roll.
Very crucial roll. What is it?
That's 1 damage.
Oh, is it 2? Okay, right. I thought it was the 6.
No,
Oh,
the
God.
2.
Okay, so it's 1 damage. It takes Gib Smasher down to 2 remaining wounds.
So he does have a 6 up. Feel no pain.
Oh, he does too. Yes. Okay, so the Warlord trait coming in. Tenacious Survivor does not affect the result. Okay, so coming into Gib Smasher, he will do his little thing here. 4 attacks, hitting on 3s. That's 1 hit, unfortunately. I might re-roll one of them. I've got 1 point remaining. Nope, again it failed. That's twice now I've done that. And wounding on 2. Okay, that is a wound. Take a save of 5+. Nope, fails. Okay, so D3 wounds coming through. It's only 1 wound again. So direct copy of last turn. 1 wound on the sergeant there. And now it's time for the Death Dread, who has 6 attacks, hitting on 3s. Oh, another bad roll. Better than the last roll. 1 better than the last roll. And wounding on 2s. Okay, so there's 2 wounds there. 5 ups to save. Saved 1, and it's damage 3 coming through, so the sergeant is gone. And again, fearless. But we need to see if the turn ends. So who rolls this?
The person who went first rolls this.
Okay, so I went first. I have to roll
3+.
a 3+. I really hope it's a 3+, because then I can...
You can wipe me out if you take it.
I could try. I don't think I could wipe you out entirely, but I could try.
Certainly get an
Okay, let's go for a 3+. It's a 6, okay. All right, turn 6 for the Orks. I'll do a little bit of movement because I know I've got a shooter here that will be able to get in range of that, but the other boys will be way out of range, so I'll do that. Okay, so movement has been done for the Orks. All I did was move the shooter, the big shooter, into line of sight with the land speeder there. So the other boys sort of shuffled back into the enemy deployment zone there. Obviously no movement here, they're all still in combat. So we'll go with the big shooter here. It's 3s, I need 5s to hit. That's 1. I need a 4 to wound. This is a critical roll, It's a 2, no, okay. So that land speeder does survive on 1 wound. Going over to assaults here, I'll choose the first assault. That will be the Death Dread. Okay, let's see if we can take this last Terminator out. 6 attacks. Hitting on 3s.
2 3s.
So we're getting better and better slowly as time goes on. And 2s to wound. That's 3, so 3 5-up saves. Please, sir.
And he's dead.
Okay, he's gone. All right, so no matter what the result, he's gone. That leaves the Dark Angels with their turn 6 coming up, which will be the land speeder. I'll just consolidate a little bit with these guys. So, turn 6, what are you going to do?
Well, move coffee cup.
Yep, that's a good call. It's a good start. Okay.
2 hits.
Nice.
Strength 5. 2 wounds.
2 wounds.
-1.
Okay. 2 wounds. Okay, 2 wounds on Gib Smasher. -1. Okay, so 3-up saves. Here we go. What was that?
It was a 6 and a 5.
6 and a 5, so we're fine. Okay, and that is the end of turn 6.
Roll just because you're
yep.
holding the camera. 4+, the game. Okay. The
Okay.
Game ends.
Game ends. We need to work out the rolls here, but I'll shake Ben's hand. What an awesome battle. Thank you very much for that, man. Thank you very much. What a good game. We'll go off camera and we'll work out points because I think it's going to be very, very close. It's a kill points game, of course, and all of the secondary objectives as well. So let's check it. Okay, so the points have come through. It is an Orc victory by a whisker. 1 point, and that is 15 points to 14 points in the Orcs' favour. The Orcs killed 12 kill points. They also took Warlord, Linebreaker, and First Blood, which makes 15 points. The Dark Angels killed 13 units and got Linebreaker. So in the end, unfortunately, down to secondaries, the Orcs have taken it by 1 point. It's been a very close game, an enjoyable game. I like a nail biter. I like a tough challenge, and a challenge this was, I think, for both of us. So yeah, happy to have you along on the ride. Thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned for more. This new terrain looks kind of cool. I'm pretty happy with it. It's very nice board setup here. So Chaos did not win the day. It was Orcs that took it, and Dark Angels unfortunately will be sending reinforcements to try and finish off this Orc force. But for now, we'll say goodbye and thank you for watching. Thanks Ben for coming down. It was a fantastic game. This is Emperor's Crusade, and have some very happy wargaming. Cheers.